Hello and welcome. Mr. Martino here again for your favorite teacher. In this lesson, we're going to continue with our unit on angles in geometry, and today we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines and their properties and how we use them to solve problems. Perpendicular lines always intersect each other at 90 degrees and are very important in geometry, as we use this knowledge to help us solve many problems with triangles and shapes that are more complex. They are also extremely good to understand for the world of work, as they occur in many different situations in the real world. And the more you understand, the better you can deal with them. Examples of perpendicular lines are the x and y-axis on a graph, certain aspects of construction of roofs and buildings, and generally any situation that requires straight edges. Parallel lines are straight lines that never intersect, and in math, this feature is extremely useful to allow us to calculate other useful information when we see them. They are always identified by arrows on the lines that are parallel, and in particular, there are three main scenarios that we look out for when parallel lines are involved. First, we have alternate angles, also called z-angles. The two angles in question are similar to the two angles in a z, and they occur when we have parallel lines and a third line that crosses those two lines. The illustration shows us two sets of alternate angles that are formed when we have this specific setup, and it's important to understand which of the pairs of angles are considered as alternate. Alternate angles are always equal to each other, and we use this fact as our reason when asked to provide reasoning for your exam questions. Second, we have corresponding angles, also called F angles. Again, the shape resembles an F, either backwards or upside down, it doesn't really matter, and they occur in a similar scenario, but the specific angles are shown in our illustration. Notice that the F can appear in any direction, but the important thing is knowing which are the two angles. As in alternate angles, corresponding angles are always equal to each other. Third, we have co-interior angles, also called C or U angles, and they are formed on the inside of parallel lines, and these angles add to 180 degrees. For any of the above conditions to exist, we must have a pair of parallel lines, denoted with arrows, and a further line connecting the pair. The subsequent angles that are formed will be one of the three types of angles mentioned above. Additionally, the angles must include both parallel lines, so let's take a look at this in an example. The diagram shows certain information and asks us to find the lettered angles with reasons. It clearly includes two parallel lines that are easily identified by their arrows, and as such, we should be on the lookout for our special angles as noted above. Angle A is 75 degrees because we can see the reversed F shape, and our reason is corresponding angles are equal. Having found A is 75, angle B is also 75 degrees. Again, we can see the Z shape, and our reason is alternate angles are equal. Angle C is 100 degrees, an upside down F shape, and our reason is corresponding angles are equal. Angles D and C are co-interior angles, so angle D is 70 degrees, and the reason is co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. The last angle to be found is angle E. This requires the angle reasoning that opposite angles, that is, angles in an X shape, are the same. Hence, we have the angles opposite to D and A are the same as those two angles. Our last bit of reasoning is now angles in a triangle add to 180 degrees. Therefore, angle E is calculated as 180 less the sum of 75 and 70, which turns out to be 35 degrees. All the angles have now been determined, and we have also provided the appropriate reasoning to support any calculations that we did. This will usually be necessary when answering questions on angles. I hope this has been helpful, and you can always test your understanding by taking our quizzes or trying our worksheets available on the website. This has been Mr. Martineau for your favorite teacher. Thanks for watching.